And welcome back to Fate of the Pods, your favorite podcast for both RS3 and real life content. I'm Aerro.
And I'm Rainyday.
And we are back again with another This Week in Podscape, where we follow alongside the weekly updates in RuneScape as they come out. Today, Rainy, what are we talking about?
Our main topics for today are going to be the Yak Track, Path of the Creators, and also the new boss coming out next week on August 31st. And before we get started with that, though, I wanted to mention last week, our first This Week in Podscape episode. There was a lot of updates going on that week, and a lot of the things I said could have been said better and could have been more factual. They were not. There was a lot of falsisms there, a lot going on. Hopefully that's not going to happen again, but if it does, just have fun with it, okay?
We're going to try
like I did, because I think as all the stuff I said, I had a lot of fun saying it. My bad. A lot of it was wrong, but y'all want facts. There's a lot of people that speak facts on this game.
Yes.
So
we will come correct.
You will find facts here, but yeah, you're going to find them here too, but it's going to be a little bit more fun here, I should say. But yeah, so we will move on to the updates. First up, it's there's a new Yak Track that came earlier today on Monday the 23rd of August. It's called Path of the Creators. I'm pretty sure this is like the 858th Yak Track
literally
RuneScape has put out.
I've done 0 of them. I think the furthest I've ever gotten in a Yak Track is just by happenstance, by doing what I normally do in a game, and it was like level 8 or whatever.
Yeah. So I remember, before I get started on this, I will say that the first Yak Track that ever came out had the best rewards. Like it's the one with the black blindfold.
I pretend I do not see it.
Yeah, definitely. If Jagex, if you're like watching this, bring those rewards back. You want people to do Yak Track, bring that reward, like bring those back. But I think the beginning Yak Tracks, they were a lot more grindy than what they are now, which is a really good thing, because I feel like a lot of people do them more now. And which brings me to some of the new changes that they made with this current Yak Track. They said it was going to be it's going to have a lot of more skill and kills. I haven't looked at the list. I think I'm still on Yak Track 3 or 4 right now. But my favorite ones are the skill and kills, because you, once again, I think those are the ones you did. You just skill or kill your way through.
Right.
There's some clue scroll ones which are pretty fun. There's earn marks of war. So there should be a bunch of those, and I think although Yak Tracks are a bit controversial because they pump out so many in this game, they do intertwine it with lore. Like this one is geared toward like Jaws and Elder God Wars Dungeon 3.
Yes.
So I do appreciate that because you can tell like effort is put into it, but at the same time I guess that like players want efforts to go towards other things. But that's besides the point.
I have a question.
Yes.
As someone who doesn't do the Yak Tracks, how considerable are the reward increases if you have like Premier or whatever the thing is going?
So I do have Premier. I think you have access to more of the cosmetic items, I believe. By the way, if you don't have Premier Club, if you pay, I think it's 2 bonds, you can be like a Premier member of this Yak Track, and you'll get all the exclusive Premier rewards. But this one is different in that I think, let's say you complete all 50 or probably in the late 40s, you'll have like 25% XP bonus in basically all of the skills. So the sooner because this Yak Track is here until October 3rd. So the sooner you get all of it done, you basically have a 25% XP bonus.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
Like,
and especially if what?
I was going to say, in game time, you have like 40 or 41 days from, I guess, the time that we're recording this podcast to complete
Yeah,
the Yak Track.
which is a good enough time to be like, if I'm gonna make it to like Yak Track 16 by the second to last week, you can kind of just look at the contents and kind of just complete them. Because for the most part, they are pretty doable, and Yak Track skips are available with bonds. So there might be a 2 or 3 super grindy ones that you don't want to deal with, so you can easily skip them. And I think that the skips carry over from one Yak Track to the next, because I think I have like 9 skips or something. Um, but yeah, and they are, like I said, I plan on seeing a lot of skills and kills. Obviously, they increase in quantity as you move on, get further in the Yak Track, but it's definitely doable. I do honestly recommend these Yak Tracks, as even though like it's kind of a bit much sometimes.
I almost
Because I
wish.
personally like them. They've grown on me.
Yeah, I mean, they've done so many of them now in the same kind of format of like you go across the map or whatever and you do your 50 tasks. I wish almost that there was almost more of a blend to where like a mini quest would be, or like I have to go talk to somebody, I have to do this part, instead of just these very arbitrary tasks that I need to get done. And I mean, maybe that is the point of it and I'm just a hater, but
Yeah,
I wish like I would be more inclined to participate if it was both random tasks I had to do and like maybe a little bit of a storyline to like go along with it.
yeah, and it's cool that you say that, because I think this Yak Track, and also the last one too, it is kind of geared towards lore and stuff. So there's an option to I think it was the second Yak Track task. You go talk to the guy in Berthorpe, and you basically have to go find like flowers on Anachronia, which are pretty easy to find. You just click the book and it tells you how many spaces you need to go in what direction. But so it'll have some of those. It won't be like the majority of the Yak Track tasks, but it's still a good amount. So it's really cool that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I almost wish like it would be cool if, so let's say there's 50 tasks or whatever, right?
Hmm.
I wish like maybe after 10 then would have like a very short but still have to like do something like a mini quest. Like you do 10 of them, then there's a mini quest or whatever. And then you do another 10, then there's a mini quest. And then it can make it kind of like, I don't know, more engaging.
Yeah, I see that.
But I appreciate what they're doing. I know a bunch of people like them. But
Yeah.
anyway.
And the 25% XP boost is very, I don't know if it stacks with the knowledge bombs, the 50% ones. So
I don't know.
yeah, that should be cool to find out. Because it's better to get to Yak Track 50 like next week than it is to complete it on the 39th day of this Yak Track.
Right. Get it done sooner rather than later. Reap more of the rewards.
Yes.
Okay, love that. Next on our list, I think, is kind of what everyone's been waiting for. The next big update in the Elder God Wars Dungeon 3, the Glacor Front. I will apologize in advance if I at any point say Glacor, because for the entirety of my RS career, until I watched the stream this past week, I've said Glacor, but apparently it's Glacor. So, apologize in advance. Again, like Rainy said earlier, it is coming out August 31st, which is a Tuesday, actually, not a Monday update. The UK has a bank holiday, I think, on Monday, so it'll be out on Tuesday. Just a quick note there, if you're going to take off whatever the day for the big event. The boss in question this time around, a follower of Wen, is the Arc Glacor. He is a very large animated Glacor who's kind of sitting at the back of the Glacor front. And there's some really cool animations. If you guys haven't really seen any of it yet, you should take a look at the live stream that RuneScape has on Twitch. It is quite the fate of the designers and the art people that they have done for this second boss. to go through some quick highlight points, the facts, what you guys want to know. Again, as the same as the Nodon front last time, there will be Slayer creatures, which are just glacites, and then the old Glacors that previously required a Ritual of the Majorat to be able to kill, but no longer do. So if you have access to God Wars Dungeon 3, you'll be able to kill the Glacors if you didn't have ROTM done before. So that's fun. So the Arch Glacor himself, it is the first scalable boss in RuneScape. And for those who haven't watched the Twitch stream, essentially they are gearing this boss toward teaching people how to PVM. Kind of the basics of PVM is what they say. There are 5 distinct toggles that you can turn on and off for the boss. We'll talk about this more in depth on Monday or next week when it comes out. Rainy and I will go live in game again for a podcast on the Wen front. But anyway, so there's 5 distinct things you can toggle on and off that are essentially mechanics that are testing certain aspects of your PVM skills. Whether or not you can tank a big hit, whether or not you can move around the map, whether or not you can kind of burst DPS to get out of a certain phase. So some very applicable stuff that you can do that you can all turn on and off. Like they're talking about in the stream, it seems like it's kind of almost an exponential curve. If you only have one of the mechanics toggled on, you're going to get or like 0 of the mechanics toggled on, you're going to get very low drops comparatively. But as you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your drops get kind of exponentially better. But also the degree of difficulty obviously gets harder as well. There is a hard mode for the Arc Glacor, and to unlock it versus like comparatively to Carapac, you don't just automatically get hard mode. You have to unlock it by completing a kill by yourself with all of the toggleable things activated. So you have to do all 5 of the different mechanics to unlock the hard mode. It is in normal mode a massable boss, they said, but they have some type of coding into it to where if the amount of mechanics done in the boss and the amount of HP the boss has left don't match up, like if you're doing way too much damage versus the amount of mechanics left that the boss has to rotate through, then your damage output's going to be like significantly decreased. So they're essentially trying to make it so you have to go through the mechanics to learn that part of PVM, which I think is kind of cool personally. So you can still get a group to go if you want, but you're not going to be able to just, thrash the boss, I think is what they're trying to make it out to be. To the hard mode, a lot of people were wondering kind of what that all had entail. Same thing with Carapac. You can only get the new and the best drops from the hard mode itself. The hard mode, again, is soloable only. It's not like Carapac where you can take 3 people. Yeah, 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She's like, yes, I'm listening.
Yes.
Hard mode, you can only do solo. And it has an enrage similar to Telos. So it can go up to 4,000% enrage. They said, however, there's no like defining enrage percentage where a new mechanic is added in. It's just in general, all of hard mode, even at 0% enrage, has kind of upped mechanics of the mechanics. That probably doesn't make sense to the people listening. So for example, there's a mechanic where like in normal mode, 2 beams shoot down, and you have to avoid the beams as they kind of follow you, because they do damage. And then in hard mode, there's 3 beams instead of 2 that you have to avoid. So stuff like that, where it's still the same mechanics, nothing new. It's just kind of stronger versions of those mechanics is what they're making it sound like. So the tier 95 dual melee weapons, which are the Dark Shard of Lang and the Dark Sliver of Lang, which, by the way, look awesome. If you haven't seen what they look like all dyed, or what they're gonna all look like dyed, you should go look up that artwork, because it looks fucking fantastic. They did such a great job. Similar to Carapac, there's going to be a scripture of Wen, like there's a scripture of Jas, so a new god book. The T95 dual melee weapons have a base tier 85 counterpart that you then upgrade to the tier 95 with a drop that is only found in the hard mode battle. So you can make tier 85 dual wields in the normal mode with the drops, and then you have to get a specific drop from the hard mode to make the tier 95s. And then another big part, I know I've been talking for a long bit here about this boss. A big part that should be noted that is also very unique and the first of its kind in RuneScape is that with this Arc Glacor boss, all normal mode deaths are free permanently, even after the first week. I know the first week they have free deaths for everything, but just as the way they kind of set up this learn to PVM boss in normal mode, you cannot die essentially. If you lose all of your life points as an Andrus, I think they said just kind of pulls you from the battle and saves you, so you don't actually go to death's office, which is super cool. So that's essentially like infinite training from this boss.
Which is, yes, so it's good that you mentioned that. It was made very clear, and also that the same cannot be said for hard mode.
Right, if you die in hard mode,
you can't teleport. Yeah, you can't teleport out either. And there's an enrage and streaking system very similar to Telos, which I respect that hard mode is like that. So pretty cool. And I like what they did with this boss, because I remember like having a boss that isn't punishing when it comes to trying to learn it is really, really helpful. So it's good that normal mode is not punishing at all.
Agreed. Also with this, they did say that later this week they're going to go more in depth about the rewards from this front. Apparently the dual wields have a special effect, like a set effect, because they said you're going to want to be wielding them both at the same time. So we'll have more updates for you guys next week as more information comes out. I personally am very excited, because as someone who does not like PVM, this is right up my alley. This is the noob's gateway to PVM.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna like take advantage of normal mode, and because I'm having flashbacks of the lightning mechanic Carapac has, and how I was getting rocked multiple times per kill at that boss. So if there's any mechanic, which I kind of expect for one of those many mechanics that the Arc Glacor has to be something similar to that, where it's like something that can rapidly kill you. Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of my weaknesses, is stuff like that.
We will have to see next week.
Yes, and before, I think that does this conclude the entirety of the overview of the new boss coming out next week, Aerro?
Yes, and we will we will be going live in game next week. Rainy and I will be exploring in real time the new area that they have given us, the new boss. Maybe we'll see Rainy die on cam again. Who knows?
Yes. That'll be a fun time to watch. Like I literally can't believe you survived and I died. Actually, I can definitely believe it, because if if Aerro was to PVM, I feel like he'd be good.
T.
But he doesn't. He's and
anyway.
No.
Anyway,
No. Before I think we're gonna have the last thing we need to mention for this week at Podscape is patch notes. But I wanted to mention how well you explained this boss, because A, I could never. B, you did like a damn good job. I couldn't have said anything better myself. We know this. We know the differences between Aerro and me. But so thank you for that, because I learned a lot from whatever the hell you just said.
Thank you.
So thank you. And now we move on to patch notes. So everybody's chat font styles should be normal. I remember a couple weeks ago, or probably last week too, I can't remember, there was like a lot of spacing between them.
Yeah,
so
weird.
Everything is normal again, chat fonts and spacing and stuff. And for user interfaces for mobile, they made some changes in the chat boxes. I think they're a bit more fluid than what they were, and also a lot of people were logging on without the game ribbon interface, which is like your hero tab, your achievement tab, stuff like that. Gotcha. So I think for everybody that should be accessible and visible. So changes to those, and I think those are pretty much the biggest ones.
Well, great. Yes. Thank you guys for listening for this week in Podscape. We're happy to bring you updates every week as they come, to keep you updated, keep you in tune, keep you in check, and hopefully give you at least the majority of it as facts.
Yes. Especially from Aerro. For me, I'm just here to have a good time. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support.
Yes. And we will see you next time.
Yes,
bye.
Keep the faith. Bye.